This was Dylan's very first piano recital. And you've been taking piano for about maybe 2 or 3 months? Where's Mom at? There you are. Yeah, about 2 or 3 months. So I think you did a great job. Yeah. And you get your first pick of the roses. You want to pick which one you want? There you go. Here, let me help. You got it? There you go. Good job, Dylan. All right. Our next performer is Abigail Kepner, and she's going to play Tangy Tango by Wendy Stevens. Abigail worked so hard on that song. I think we should give her one more round of applause. And this is your 3rd or 4th recital? 3rd? She did, I think your very first recital with me was the Halloween recital in Lancaster, wasn't it? Yeah, so she did the Halloween recital, and then I think you did the Christmas recital. Now you're becoming a seasoned performer. Would you like to pick your rose? That's beautiful. Congratulations. And I just have to say that you could probably hear it, but the hardest thing about that piece was the syncopation. And I think the other student who played it a couple years ago was Anya on her first recital. And Anya, it was hard for us too, wasn't it? Yeah, those rhythms are tricky. So see, now Abigail, now you've got more syncopated mastery than the average, what are you, in 1st grade? Than the average 1st grader. All right, our next performer today is Jay. Come on up, Jay. in case you didn't get that, that was Jack falling down the beanstalk at the end. And yeah, he had a hat. He forgot his hat. But I'll tell you what a teacher told me once, Jay. The only important thing is that you don't forget your notes. You did that, right? Yeah, good job. You want to pick your rose? And here's your certificate. Congratulations. Great job. The kids have fallen in love with the Little Fuzzies. There's a whole series of them by Wendy Stevens. And I've been wanting to buy the Little Fuzzies that go on the piano keys, but apparently they're so popular that ever since I've wanted to buy them, they've stayed sold out. So I'm waiting till they make more, and then we'll have Little Fuzzies for our piano lessons. Good job, Jay. All right, our next performer is Danny, and she's going to play a very different type of piece. For this piece, you kind of just have to close your eyes and imagine you're in The Sound of Music, just strolling around fields of flowers, okay? This is one of those kinds of songs. You can just kind of shut your eyes and relax. You ready, Danny? All right. Danny, was this your very first piano recital?
No.
When was your first piano recital? Christmas? Oh, see, Miss Elizabeth's memory, it's getting bad. Okay, it was your first spring recital. I was close. Wasn't that a beautiful piece? All right, here's your certificate. You get to pick a pretty rose. There you go. Congratulations. Oh, but don't go too far because you got to play with your sister. So go sit next to her and then you'll come back up. And then you can just, why don't you go give that to mommy, okay? Okay. So our next performer is her sister Emily, who's going to be playing I Love to Play Piano, followed by Grandfather's Duet. And before you start, Emily, I just wanted to tell everybody that Danny and Emily played the Grandfather's Duet for their school talent show a couple weeks ago. So this isn't their first performance of it. Congratulations, Emily. That was very well done. There's your certificate. You're welcome. You can pick your rose. I promise they're all yellow. Good job. I know they already got their roses, but they did a great job on their duet, so let's clap for them one more time. I have a handful of students. They're the only two here today because the others were on last week's recital that I teach during the after-school program at St. Patrick's in Carlisle. And so we have to really concentrate when we're in those lessons because it's at the end of a long school day and we have to run from room to room. The kids are always like in different spaces and it's kind of like my gym time where I get to run around the school and find all the kids. But we have a good time. I think it's a good end of their school day and it's only once a week. So I give them kudos for concentrating when I know they're tired at the end of the day. I think our next performer is Anya. Are you ready, Anya? All right. Oh, great job. That was really good. Yeah, she was determined to play that from memory. And so we talked about how well, I have to give you guys the context. So Wendy Sell, she composes groups of songs. And so this one was part of like a seasonal grouping. I think it was April, May, and June. And so Anya decided to play the one that was June, and there's a picture of frogs on the front of the cover. So all those little da-dum, da-dum, those were like the little frogs jumping on the lily pads. So there were no words to that song, but there was definitely like an imagery with it. You did a great job. There you go. And you may pick your rose. Good job. And I finally remembered what I was going to, there was one more thing I was going to say at the beginning of the recital, and I finally remembered what it was. After we're done, when we go to the reception, and I know you guys have to jet out, so I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you. Did Jay also play a Wendy Stevens song at some point? Well, here, I'm going to give Anya, take two of these with you, and I'll explain why, okay? So a couple weeks ago, I got a nice surprise in the mail. Wendy Stevens sent me a postcard and thanked me for teaching many of her pieces over the years, and just wrote me this really nice little personal note, put some music stickers in it, and said, I hope your students are enjoying the music. And so I thought it would be really cool if all of my students that have played anything by her would just write her a little note, and I'm going to have lots of these colored index cards in the reception room. And if you just could write your name on it, and just maybe like if you remember the name of the song, tell her what you liked about it. I just think that'll be a really nice surprise. I'll put all the postcards together and mail them to her. So that's what those are for, all right? She works, I think a lot of times composers, well, they get to go to conferences and things, but sometimes I think composers, they don't get to see all of the gratitude, right? Because they're not there at all the recitals to hear the performances of their pieces. So I just thought that would be a nice gesture. Okay, we are now on the second page of our program. Our next performer is Maddie, and she's going to be playing a solo as well as a duet. Now, I know I'm right about this. This was Maddie's first recital, right? Wasn't that great? You did a really great job. Maddie has nailed paying attention to details and keeping a steady beat and dynamics and like so many things that we've worked on in such a short amount of time. I'm really excited to hear you again in September. Good job. And most importantly, she looked like she was having fun. All right, our next performer today. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna give you like, what's the warning? What's that called, Carter? There's a name for it. Trigger warning. Carter's song is gonna wake you up if you're not awake, so make sure you're awake now. You ready, Carter? Wow, that was really good. Do you guys know how hard that song was? That was a hard song, and he nailed it. We're going to clap for you again, okay? Don't be embarrassed. One of my favorite things about teaching, especially teaching kids, is that I know this is true of me, and I think it's true of almost all of us. When you do something you really enjoy, you don't think about how hard it is, right? That song was like 3 levels harder than anything else you've ever played, and you nailed it. So, good job. All right. Yeah, we're going to have to definitely write Wendy Stevens a card about that one, Carter. Tell her how much you liked it. All right, our next performer is Lily, and she's going to be playing Mazurka in A minor, Opus 67, number 4 by Chopin. Good job, Lily. I know. She's feeling like that was such a big piece, and I'm so glad it's over, right? She loves this piece and plays it so beautifully. And, I want to tell you something. Pieces like this, they grow with you. And my mom, sitting in the back there, she can tell you that because she's been to enough of my recitals that she can tell you there are pieces that I played the first time, and the first time it was like I got through it. And then the second time I lived with it more, and each time I played it, it became like an old friend. So I commend you for taking on such a big piece, and we're going to keep playing it this summer, I hope. Yeah? Congratulations. I think that was the first time I had a student play a mazurka. They're lovely pieces. And you can pick your yellow rose. Isn't that like the color rose that they had in was it Snow White? She doesn't know her Disney roses. I think it was Snow White. There's there's one Disney movie, right? Right, Brielle? Brielle knows what I'm trying to say. There's one Disney movie where there's yellow roses. Anyways, good job. Congratulations. I think it's Beauty and the Beast. I think that's the one. Okay. And Brielle has been patiently waiting. Now she is going to play two pieces, a prelude in E minor by Chopin, followed by the very original title, The Book Thief, from The Book Thief. But this is one of her favorite pieces, so we hope you enjoy this. And I just have to say this before you start. I know sometimes I live in a bubble, but I love John Williams, and I didn't realize he wasn't dead. Like, hopefully he's still alive after this, because I say that and then things happen. But no, he was born in 1932, and I think he's still composing. So go John Williams. All right, we're ready. those two beautiful pieces? Yes. I think Chopin and Williams should be programmed together more often. Oh, for those of you, how many of you have seen The Book Thief? Okay, Brielle's mom raised her hand. I don't think anyone else has seen it. Well, I haven't seen it either, but Brielle explained it to me. And this scene, we did some fun imagery playing in our last lesson. So essentially, it kind of reminds me, is it similar to like the scene in the beginning of the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe when the kids are going off on the train? Remember when the children have to go off on the train because the father went to war? It's very similar to that. It's like it's a wartime movie, right? And so we had fun playing with the imagery of like this girl getting on this train and going to someplace that she doesn't know, that's unfamiliar, and all of these things are happening around her, right? And she's just kind of like swept up in the middle of it, and then looking out the window of the train and sort of watching all of the scenery change as it goes by. And so I'm going to make a point to watch the movie, and I think you all should too. That's all I have to say about that. Good job, Brielle. Very proud of you. Oh, I didn't give you your certificate. There you go. There you go. And you may pick your rose. Good job. All right, we're down to our final two performers, and then it'll be cupcake time, but not yet. All right, next we have Vaibhav, and he is going to be performing the Sonatina in G major, movements 1 and 2 by Beethoven. Very well done, Vaibhav. Good job. That's a tough piece, and we worked incredibly hard on it, didn't we? Congratulations. You're down. Okay, you get one, Pranav gets the other. So for those of you that don't know what a sonata is, a sonatina is a miniature sonata, and it's essentially one of the most popular staple styles or forms of music in the classical era. And so playing your first sonatina is kind of a big deal because you have to learn to play the two different thematic ideas, which are, one is usually major and one is minor. And then there's the development of the ideas. And the biggest thing, I think, probably for Vaibhav was the articulation, right? Just like really nailing, there's like 2-note slurs where it has to be like perfectly articulated. So we worked really, really hard on that. And we might have to get that piece back out again in the fall for Dorothy Sutton because it sounded pretty good. So great job. All right, are we ready for our finale, Pranav? Okay, Pranav is going to be playing the Venetian Boat Song, Opus 19, number 6 by Mendelssohn. You did it. Congratulations. That was also another very complicated piece. Pranav, what was the thing that you heard me say over and over and over and over and over in your lessons, the hardest part?
It was the dynamics, then playing it steady
He remembers everything I say, and that top voice, right? So in that piece, you have to keep that boat going in the left hand, and you have to keep the sustained top voice in the right hand, and the chords changing under it in the same hand. So there's like at least 3 things happening all of the time. I had a lot of fun working on that piece with you.
It was pretty fun.
All right, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Good job. All right, I just want to thank all of the performers one more time for all of your hard work and practice. Could I have all of the performers come up to the center in front of me? Just bring yourselves, unless, if you want to bring your rose, you can, but you don't have to. All right, he's got his rose. Come on up here. I'm going to have you guys stand down. Can you guys go down 2 steps? Right there, Abigail. Jay, stand, yeah. Dylan, squeeze in there. Emily, come up here. Danny, you come up 1. There. Kind of like find a window. There we go. Here, I'll scooch this back. We don't need this. And before we get a picture, I just want to give them one more round of applause for their wonderful playing.